Welcome, everybody, to Mom Street USA. My name is Jackie, aka Wishes Mama. And for today's episode, we are talking about Disney tech. So, we are going to be going over the My Disney Experience app for Disney World and a little bit about the Disneyland app for West Coast friends out there. But we're going to be focusing on using the app on your trip, before your trip, and focusing on things that will help parents with kids being at the parks and using the app at the parks. So that is the plan for today. The episode is going to focus on using, like I said, the Disney World app, which is called My Disney Experience, and a few other resources we'll throw in there as well to help make the most of your Disney trip. So just do keep in mind that, like I said, we are going to be talking about both coasts. I am going to focus a little bit more on Disney World, just because that is my comfort zone, but I am going to be making some notes about Disneyland as we go. If you are someone who is looking for Disneyland information, it will be in this episode. However, there will be several things that I talk about today that are different from between Disney World and Disneyland, and there will be a lot of things that are the same. The apps are completely separate, so keep that in mind as you are listening so that you don't get confused. I will do my best to clarify as we go so you know which apps I'm talking about and when. But the primary focus is going to be that My Disney Experience app. So obviously, let's talk about before your trip. And the very first thing you're going to need to do is download that app. The important thing about downloading this app and signing in and getting logged in is that you need to use the same email that you have used for any other Disney reservation things that you have done up to this point. So if your trip is booked, even if you book through a travel agent or if you booked on your own, whatever email address you are using to book that trip needs to be the same email address that you use whenever you log into the app. So download the My Disney Experience app and use that same email address. The same thing goes for Disneyland. So no matter which side you're logging into, Disney now has streamlined so all of their accounts, whether it's Disney World, Disneyland, your Disney Plus account, anything that you log in under the Disney umbrella is all going to be under the same email. So that is super important because otherwise you'll accidentally create duplicate accounts and you won't be able to see any of your stuff on the app. So don't do that. Use the same email that you used if you already have booked or if you already have a Disney account. If you don't have any of those things, you don't have Disney Plus or you haven't already made your reservation yet, whatever email you want to use is fine, but make sure you write down that username and password or make sure you save it because everything else in the future, Disney-wise, that you log into, you want to make sure that you keep it all under the same account so that way Disney knows who you are and you can access all of your stuff. So that's kind of step one is setting that up, making sure that you have the ability to log in and view all of your everything. Because in theory, once you log in, as long as you've done your reservation for your trip already, log in with that same email. Everything should kind of pre-populate for you. So it shouldn't be a big deal to add your reservations on or be able to find all your stuff. It should already be there for you. So that's kind of the basics of setting up your account. And we're going to kind of walk through this step by step after that, talking about things to do before your trip. And then we'll also talk about during your trip, some really helpful things that you could do on your app as well. So the next thing that I want to talk about is kind of goes hand in hand with creating your account, and that is creating the accounts for the other people that are going to be in your travel party. So let's talk about this. Now, keep in mind what I'm going to talk about first. This has to do with Disney World. Disneyland is separate in this particular aspect. Okay. So for Disney World, you are going to set up what they call the family and friends list. And this is part of your profile under your Disney account. So the people in your travel party, once you've already made your reservation, should automatically load into your account. You should automatically be able to see them. So the way that you can double check that is on your My Disney Experience app. When you just load the home screen, make sure you're logged in, make sure it says welcome and then your name on the home screen. In the bottom right corner, there is that 3-line menu. also known as a hamburger menu because it looks like you got a bun and then a patty and then a bun, right? 3 lines. So you'll hear me refer to that as your hamburger menu because I like that term and I think it's fun. So if you click that hamburger menu, scroll almost all the way down to the bottom, you will see your profile option. Click on that, and then there will be 2 tabs at the top of your screen. One will say profile, one will say your family and friends. When you click into that, you should be able to see everybody in your travel party. They should already be preloaded because when you made your reservation, whether you did it through a travel agent or you did it yourself, you would have had to enter their names and their ages. So that should already be pre-populated for you. If it's not, then that is something that you need to contact Disney about, because you do not want to create duplicate accounts for people. It's very, very tricky when that happens. So if you do not see them, go back to that hamburger menu, and there's going to be a box option along the top. You're going to have like 7 or 8 boxes. Along the top, one of them is going to say like, chat with us or something like that. Do that, talk to the Disney representative. They should be able to help you get that going. But again, do not add people if they should already be on your reservation in your travel party because we don't want duplicate accounts. Things get very complicated when that happens, especially when it comes to booking, dining, and lightning lanes and things like that. So we'll get to that in a little bit. If you want to be in charge of everybody else's plans for your travel party, let's say it's you, another adult, and 2 kids. Let's say that, that's what my family makeup is. It's me, my husband, and my 2 kids. If you want to be the one that is in charge of everybody's plans, they do not need to create their own Disney account. They can just live and exist under yours, and you will be able to do everything for them that needs to be done when it comes to, again, dining, reservations, lightning lanes, tapping into the park, all of those things. For example, my husband, Andrew, does not have his own login for my Disney experience. He does have the app on his phone. He just uses my login and he has access to everything. So he doesn't have his own account. We just both log in and use my account and it works perfectly well that way. He's still able to do mobile orders, dining, all of those things. So it's not necessary. Now, if you're traveling with a friend group, you may want to consider having your friends also log into the app on their own, because then you will be able to split up and pay for things separately and kind of do your own thing. You don't have to. Again, you can all use a shared login if you choose to. It just depends on your preference with that. So if you want to add somebody and they do not already have a My Disney Experience account, they do not already have that set up, you need to send them the invite first before they create an account. Again, this will help not create duplicate accounts for you. So from your friends and family list, as long as they are over the age of, I believe it's 16, but it might be 18. I'm not 100% sure on that. You will see the option to, if you click onto their profile, you will see the option to like invite them to plan or something along the lines of that. So you will use that option to send them an email request to invite them to create an account using the email that you send it to. So ask them what their email preference is, type that in, send that to them. Then they will go through the prompt and they will log in and create their account using that email, and it will then auto link you guys together. Now, if that person that you are planning with already has a My Disney Experience account, the same thing can be done, but you have to make sure that whatever email you're sending it to is the email that they have set up under their My Disney Experience app, or again, you're going to create duplicate accounts. So if I'm planning with our good friend Stevie, who is one of our hub co-hosts over here on Mom Street, if I'm planning with her and we're not linked together yet, we are linked together. We've been linked together for forever on our accounts because we do a lot of trips together. But when we were starting out and we needed to get linked together, we both had our separate accounts. So we just had to confirm with each other, hey, what's the email on your account? I'm going to send you a request. And then once we did that one way and went through and clicked all the yeses and accepting buttons, then we were linked together. We were good to go. But you have to just make sure that those email addresses link and match with what people are already doing, or else you'll you'll run into issues there. Now, the one situation and the one kind of anomaly to not needing separate accounts is if you have a very large travel party. You may need and likely will need a second account in order to do dining reservations. For example, I did a big family trip back at Memorial Day. There were 10 of us. Finding a dining reservation for 10 is a lot harder than finding a reservation for 5 and 5 because of the way that restaurants make up their tables, because they have limited large party spaces. It was nearly impossible to find a reservation for 10, but a reservation for 4, 5, or 6 is a lot easier to do. So, because you would have to split your party, you have to have two separate emails to be able to do that because Disney will not allow you to book conflicting dining reservations. So let's say we're trying to book something like Cape May Cafe at 6 p.m. for dinner. I can't hold a reservation for 5 and 5 at the same time because Disney will view that as a conflicting reservation. They won't let you do that. But I can hold a reservation for 5, and my sister's account could hold a reservation for 5, and then all 10 of us were covered. So that's the only time where you may run into issues of not having a second account for your travel party. But if you're a party of 6 or less, you probably won't need it. Any more than 6, I would suggest looking at maybe splitting up or seeing what you can do for as far as dining goes, because it will just be a lot easier to find your dining reservations with a smaller party, just the way it is. So other than that, there is no reason that the other adults in your travel party need to have their own My Disney Experience login. Again, all of that is exclusive to Disney World. So all of the friends and family that I just talked about and the linking and the emails and all of that applies to Disney World. If you are doing Disneyland, your process is different and more simplistic. Setting up your account is the same, exactly the same as what it was that we talked about earlier when it comes to the emails and downloading the app and everything. The Disneyland app is different than the My Disney Experience app. So My Disney Experience app is for Disney World. The Disneyland app is just called the Disneyland app. So easy enough to remember and to figure out when it comes to that. But now, with the Disneyland app for West Coast, there is no friends and family list on that app. So it's not something that you have to even worry about, like adding people and making sure everybody's there. To add people to your Disneyland app, if you want to do dining, lightning lanes, things like that together, what you have to do is add their ticket or their pass to the parks to your app by scanning it. So completely different, totally not the same as what we just talked about. You don't have to worry about emails. You just have to be able to load their pass onto your Disneyland app. And then from there, you'll have access to be able to make plans together. So a little bit different, more simplistic, not as many steps involved when it comes to that. And that's simply because Disneyland has way more locals. And we've talked about this before. There are so many more locals there that people don't need as many hoops to jump through with their travel party because typically it's just people in their household or like friends that they go to the parks with frequently. They're not traveling with this group that also needs to have, access to a resort room and this and that and the other. So it's just different when it comes to that aspect of everything. So Disney World, go through all those steps with friends and family. Disneyland, you just have to load their ticket or pass onto your account, and you'll be able to do that again in your in the app through that hamburger menu. You'll be able to see the ability to add passes to your account from there. So that's kind of the gist of setting everything up. Again, if you have issues with any of that, or you feel like you are not finding what I'm saying, or you're worried about creating extra people, the chat function on the app is really, really good. The cast members there are super, super helpful. They're able to 9 times out of 10 fix what is going on. You don't even have to get on the phone if you're like me and you don't have time to sit on the phone waiting for Disney to answer or don't want to. The chat function is really good. Now, if you're someone who wants to do a phone call, you can also call them. Either way is good. But the chat feature on your app is really, really good. You'll get in direct contact with the cast members that way as well. One of the other things that you might do before your trip is booking dining reservations. So I've already mentioned this a couple times in today's episode, but booking dining reservations is something that you will want to make sure you have this app and your account all situated and set up beforehand because you will need it in order to be able to book those dining reservations. So there are two ways that you can book dining reservation, and this applies to both Disney World and Disneyland. That reservations are available 60 days ahead of the date at 6 a.m. local time. So if you're booking Disney World, 6 a.m. Eastern. If you're booking Disneyland, it'll be 6 a.m. Pacific there. And the process as far as how you book is is pretty identical when it comes to that. So two ways to book. You can book on the app directly, which is what we were just talking about. You can also use the website to book. My biggest suggestion is to have both available to you. Sometimes the app is super slow and doesn't load dining reservations. Sometimes the website is super slow and doesn't want to load dining reservations. I would always suggest having both available and both logged in. And that's what I do whenever I am booking because typically one works better than the other. I do typically find that the website tends to work better for me. It doesn't have as long of a buffer time, and I'm able to click through the screens a little bit quicker to get what I'm looking for. You always want to be sure before you start your dining reservations, like the day before at the very latest, you want to make sure your payment method is already saved on your account. And you can do that under your profile. And you can do that online on the website, or you can do it on your app. If you're doing it on your app, again, you're going to click that 3-line hamburger menu. You're going to scroll down to where it says profile. And one of the options on your profile is going to be like manage payment accounts or things like that. And you will be able to to save credit cards in there. Unfortunately, they don't let you save gift cards in there. So you want to make sure you have a credit card available. And the reason for that is Disney keeps your card on file in case of no-shows. Disney does charge a fee if you no-show and don't go to your dining reservation and don't cancel it. So that is what the credit card is for, unless you are going to an experience that requires you to prepay, which would be Cinderella's Royal Table and the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review at Disney World. Both of those are prepay, so you want to make sure that whatever card you're using, you're okay with prepaying for those two experiences if you're going to book either of those. All of your other dining experiences at Disney World that you book, that card just exists for you to be able to have that hold in case there is a no-show situation that you have. Again, they don't charge automatically except for the exception of Cinderella's Royal Table and Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. Now, keep in mind that as far as the 60-day window goes, we talked about that your dining will open at 60 days. If you are staying at a valid Disney Resort hotel, you will be able to make your reservation 60 days in advance of your arrival for your entire length of stay up to 10 nights. So you'll be able to log on at your 60-day from your check-in and book for up to 10 days out based on the length of your stay. Other guests, if you are not staying on property at Disney, you will be able to make reservations 60 days in advance. So you'll have to do it day to day if you are not staying on property. Again, at approximately 6 a.m. Eastern, it could be 5:30. It could be 6:15. Around 6 a.m. Eastern daily, the new reservation booking windows will become available. If you are someone that needs further guidance on dining and is like, I don't even know what's available, I don't know what's good for my kids. I don't know what options there are, or there are too many options. I'm overwhelmed. Way back in our archives, Kate and I did some episodes on ADRs, advanced dining reservations. So episodes 51, 52, and 53, we covered all 4 Disney parks and both California parks. So if you need advice and suggestions on dining, take a look at those. We talked about the restaurants in depthly, and we talked about menu options, theming, all of that. So if you need more guidance on what to book, go there. But let's talk about how to book those dining reservations. So if you are doing it on the app, you're going to click the plus button at the bottom of the screen, and then you're going to select check dining availability. From there, you will select your party size, the date, the time, and then the restaurant. Again, we talked about if you have a party larger than about 6, splitting your party into 2 groups will help you find better availability. Like I mentioned, I had 10 in my last group. We frequently did 4 and 6 for our dining reservations instead of 10, and we were able to get everything we wanted. And even then, some of our windows were maybe 10 or 15 minutes apart. But we all went and checked in together at the hostess stand and let them know, like, "Hey, we're all together," and they were able to make that work so that way we could sit near each other, or, at some places, they were able to make it work, and we were all able to sit at one big table. It just really depended on what was available, and we were willing to wait a few extra minutes for them to do what they could to help accommodate our larger party, so that was nice. Um, if availability is not there when you book, 2 different websites that you can look into. One is called Mouse Dining, and the other is called Stakeout. And both of those have some free and some paid that you are able to sign up for alerts for specific restaurants. So you can set an alert for a specific day, specific time, a number, and what the restaurant is, and they will notify you of those if something becomes available. So it kind of internally tracks the reservation system for you, which is a really nice thing to do. And a lot of the reservations that are really hard to get, things like Topolino's Terrace, especially is one that that I've used it before for. Um, it's really nice because like week of a lot of those reservations will become available. And it's really nice to not have to constantly monitor the dining reservations while you're also, like, in the parks trying to enjoy yourself. So, like I said, those do allow several free alerts. You can also pay to have more depending on what your needs are with that. I will just mention briefly, if you're planning to do dining on the website, they make it fairly easy and straightforward. It's very similar to what I just explained on your app, but straight from the home screen of the Walt Disney World website, you wanna make sure you're logged in, and then across the top, you're gonna go to the Things to Do tab, and then you're going to click on the, um, Make Reservations option under there. From there, you'll be able to, again, do the same thing, click your day, your time, your party size, and the restaurant that you want, and go from there. So that's kind of how making your dining reservations work. Again, for Disneyland, same process. All of that is identical. Where you find things on the app is very similar. So all of that should work if you're planning to do Disneyland. Again, though, remember 6 a.m. local time. So 6 a.m. Pacific time for Disneyland, 6 a.m. Eastern time for Disney World. And I know I've got friends that are further west that like to visit Disney World that always uh, are not thrilled about having to get up in the middle of the night to make their dining reservations because it is 6 a.m. Eastern time for that. Another thing that you might book ahead of time are your lightning lanes. Now, we're not going to get super in depth into lightning lanes. I just did an episode like, I don't know, 6 or 7 ago reviewing the lightning lane process at Disney World. That's episode 90. So, not too far back in our archives, that is a great resource where I went through tutorials on how to book, what to book, showed you how to modify, clicked through all of the screens. So that is a really great resource if that is something that you're looking for. I am going to go over just briefly the process, but if you need more in depth, that is the episode to go to because I went as in depth as I possibly could on that episode. So that being said, if you are wanting to book your lightning lanes ahead of time, resort guests plus swan, dolphin, and shades of green guests are able to pre-select your lightning lane rides 7 days out from your check-in day, and you can book for the entire length of your stay up to 14 days. So this one is a little bit different than dining. Dining was 10. Your lightning lane up to 14 days, you are able to book for the entire length of your stay. You do have to be staying that long in order to book that long. Non-resort guests can pre-select 3 days out from your first park day, and you can book for the amount of days that are eligible on your ticket that is linked to your account. So if you've got a 4-day park ticket, you can book for 4 days. If you've got a 5-day park ticket, you book for 5 days. You get the idea. On the app, when you become eligible. Now, this is Disney World only. Let me emphasize that again. This is Disney World only when it comes to this lightning lane little spiel. Okay. And everything that I already said too. Disney World. Disney World. On the app, when you become eligible, you're going to click that 3-line hamburger menu. It's like we like that menu a lot. And then you're going to click Lightning Lane Passes. It's going to be like the top right box on that screen when you open that. From there, after you click that, you're going to select from their options. You have to do a little bit of research ahead of time about what the different options are and what falls in what category and what price point is what. Again, episode 90, go back and listen to that. But you're going to select then either multi-pass, single pass, or premier pass, depending on what it is that you're looking for. From there, you will select the date, the park, your travel party, and then you will select your attractions if that applies. If you're Premier Pass, you don't have to select your attractions. But if you are Single Pass or Multi-Pass, you will select your attractions from there. After that, you will select the times you want, and then you will click Continue to go through and pay and confirm your choices. Again, episode 90, I walk through step by step. I show you on a screen exactly where to go for those lightning lanes. So that is really your end all be all full resource for lightning lanes if you need it. Just a couple notes again about lightning lanes. If you want to view your previously booked or previously purchased rides, again, you can find those under the hamburger menu. You're going to scroll down to the first section under the boxes, and you're going to click the future plans. And then from there, you can adjust the date at the top of there, and you can click through your different days that you have available that you have booked. And if you're trying to view day of plans, 2 different places you can find them. One, you can actually find them just on the home screen view of your My Disney Experience app. So when you open that app, you're going to scroll down just a little, but it's going to show you lightning lanes and dining reservations, any notes that you've put in for your planning aspect. It's going to show you there. The other place that you can find it is if you go back to that hamburger menu, scroll down actually just above the future plan aspect will be the today's plan. So that will give you the same rundown where it'll show you in a list view kind of what you have planned, what reservations you've made, whether it be rides, dining, things like that. So that in a nutshell is kind of your walkthrough with lightning lanes. Again, extensively went through this just a few episodes ago. Now, Disneyland lightning lanes are 100% different. They are still functioning under the previous system, which we knew as Genie Plus. The name is the same. They still consider them Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, Lightning Lane Single Pass, but it functions as the previous system. There is no pre-booking. It is just day of. You book when you get into the park, but where you find things is very similar on the app. We also did information about that. I did not update a ton of that in the most recent Lightning Lane episode we did because nothing has really changed out there since we talked about it last. But episode 63 in our archives is Lightning Lanes. And you want to if you want to focus on the Disneyland version. If you're looking for Disney World, again, episode 90 is your most up to date, but episode 63 will give you Disneyland, and we'll talk through exactly how to book, what to book, and what order, and all that good stuff. Okay, so that is kind of your Dining and lightning lanes, again, in a nutshell, not going into super detail because we have done that before. A couple more things that you can talk about before your trip. And the last kind of category before we talk about what to do during your trip, and that is online check-in. So Disney gives you the option to check into your resort room on your app before your trip. You can make basic room requests and select if you will arrive before or after the 3 p.m. check-in time. This option is a really, really good option if you do not have very specific needs and you are arriving close to check-in time. I would definitely go ahead and do that because that will allow you to skip the front desk and they will just text you updates about your room and the status of whether it's ready or not. Now, if you are someone who has specific room needs, adjoining rooms, handicap rooms, certain locations, top floor, bottom floor, those types of things. Um, or you will be arriving very early in the day prior to check-in time. I highly suggest checking in at the front desk when you get there. The lines usually look long, but they usually move fairly quickly. So I do not suggest doing online check-in if you are someone that has specific room needs or will be arriving super early in the day. Disney is not going to, it's going to be easier for Disney to accommodate your needs if you are someone that goes to the front desk rather than just relying on the text updates from the My Disney Experience app. And that's my experience that I've had. And as far as that goes, it's hit or miss whether or not Disney has rooms available early. It's hit or miss whether or not they can accommodate what you're requesting in your room requests. But that is kind of the way that that works. Now at Disneyland, same process. You do have the ability to check in early if you're staying at a Disneyland resort. Remember, there are very few of those. They are all in that deluxe category. So if you are staying at one of the 3 Disneyland resorts, you do have the ability to check in early on your app before your trip. Same process. You can make basic room requests, things like that as well. And again, if you are someone that has more extensive requests, you have questions, you're planning to arrive super early, I would just go to the front desk and check in there because it's more likely that they're going to be able to accommodate you if you go and chat with them first. So that kind of wraps up the what you need to do about everything before your trip when it comes to Disney Tech and the app. But let's talk about what you can do with your app during your trip. So there are lots of functions that you can use the My Disney Experience and the Disneyland app for during your trip. The majority of what we are going to talk about now is going to be the same for Disney World and Disneyland. So a lot of the differences are pre-trip, right? Before you go to the parks, setting up your account, getting everything linked and connected and all of that. But kind of once you do all of that and once you actually get to the parks, a lot of this is really, really similar. So that is what we are going to look at next. The first thing that we are going to talk about is setting up your Magic Mobile account on your Disney app. So the term Magic Mobile refers to the electronic version of your park ticket. So in your app, you will be able to view your park ticket under the My Tickets and Passes, but that is not an option for you to be able to scan into the Disney park for Disney World. Disneyland, it's a little bit easier for them to do because it's kind of preloaded that way because they're used to that. But Disney World has tap styles. You can't just tap that QR code looking band on those tap styles. So in order to use your park ticket on your phone at the tap styles, you have to set up this Magic Mobile feature. So to locate this in your app, you're going to click that hamburger menu. I told you I love that hamburger menu. You are going to scroll down under the profile option and you are going to click Set Up Magic Mobile Entry. What that is going to do is then bring up all of the passes that you have on your account. You're going to select the ones you want to save, and then you're going to follow the directions because you get to like personalize it and pick a cute little card design that you want. And then from there, once you've done all of that, it will give you the option to save it to your mobile wallet. So I have an iPhone. It gives me the option right on the screen to add to Apple Wallet. Again, you have a lot of options for entry to the park. You can use your phone, you can use a magic band, you can get a key card from either guest relations or the front desk of your Disney resort. All of those options are good options to use. But if you want to use your phone, that is what you have to do in order to save it to your mobile wallet. So it's one extra step that you have to do in between loading it on your phone and saving it to that mobile wallet to be able to use. Once you've done that Magic Mobile, it lives on your phone in that in your Apple Wallet or your digital wallet, your mobile wallet, and you can use that to tap into the front of the park. You can use that to tap in for lightning lanes, all those types of things. So that is the Magic Mobile. It's pretty straightforward if you're, especially if you're familiar with using a mobile wallet. It's really, really very simple to set up. Something else that you can utilize your Disney apps for is resort room entrance. So this is a really nice feature that has been introduced in the last several years on the Disney apps. If you are staying on Disney property, so that's any Disney resort at Walt Disney World and one of 3 at Disneyland, your phone can function as your resort room entrance. So because you have the ability to do that Magic Mobile, you don't ever need a key card. You can use your phone for everything. So after you have checked in, this option will auto-populate on the home screen of your My Disney Experience app. So it will say right underneath like the welcome screen, it will say like unlock room, and you'll be able to click into that, and you'll click that unlock room option when you're standing at your door, and then you're going to move your phone close to the little Mickey head card scanner on your door, and just like magic, it will open and unlock your door for you. This is really nice if you don't have magic bands and you don't necessarily have hands to be able, if you're carrying stuff because your stroller's folded up or whatever, this is really nice to have as a backup option. I used it a couple times on our last trip. I did use this feature, which was nice because then I could unlock it from my phone and tell my oldest, hey, when you hear it click, open the door for us and hold it so we can all get into the room. So again, that will auto populate on your home screen of your app if you're staying on Disney property. Another option for during your trip that you can use your app for is a very popular one, and that is mobile order. This is such a nice feature to use. I will say this tends to be utilized way more at Disney World than at Disneyland, but they do still have this option at Disneyland. There are just not as many people that tend to use it out there. Don't know why. It's just probably habit of a lot of the locals that they just don't use it. They just go and stand in line instead. But mobile order gives you the ability to order your food ahead of time on your My Disney Experience app or your Disneyland app. This applies to many quick service restaurants and locations across all of Disney property, including parks and resorts, but it's not everyone. So you do want to take a quick look at if you've got a list of places you want to go, just take a quick look to see whether or not they do mobile order so you can give yourself enough time. If you have to wait in line, you want to make sure you get there a little bit earlier so you don't get hangry while you're waiting in line for your food. In order to do the mobile order, you're going to press the plus sign at the bottom of your screen and you're going to select the order food option. From there, you'll select your restaurant and then you will go through the menu options and place your order by adding different things to your cart and then checking out at the end. Now, after that, it will say it will prompt you to let the system know when you've arrived at the restaurant. So you can do this from anywhere in the parks and then make your way over to that restaurant. It'll give you a return time window that you'll be able to come back during. And then when you arrive there, or a minute or two before, because usually it takes them a few minutes to get it ready. I will tend to do it when I'm a few, maybe 3 or 4 minutes from walking in. You can click the I'm here, prepare my order option on the app, and then it will let you know when your food is ready by sending you a push notification and your screen. If you leave your screen just open on that page, it will change. And then it will let you know which window to pick up your food from as well. So that is a really, really nice option, especially if you've got kiddos and those kiddos cannot wait in another line and they are hungry. If you've got multiple adults, you can divide and conquer. You guys can find a table, sit down, wait for your food. One of you can go up and grab your food. One of you can grab the napkins and utensils and condiments and all that kind of stuff. You guys know when it comes to eating out at like fast food, quick service places, kind of how that works. Now, for Disneyland, everything that I just talked about is all the same. So mobile order works the same, it functions the same. Again, it's utilized a little bit less at Disneyland than at Disney World, but it is still out there. The Magic Mobile and Resort entrance all function the same at Disneyland. Another way that you can save some time and not stand in line is using the merchandise mobile checkout. This is one of the newest features on the Disney app. It is fairly new in the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 years. And what this does is it gives you the ability, kind of like the scan and go option at Sam's Club, if you're familiar with that, where you can use your app to check out in some of the merchandise stores. So what you'll do is you're going to again click the plus button at the bottom of your screen and you're going to select the merchandise mobile checkout. From there, you're going to select your location. You'll scan your items. It will add them to your cart, and then you will pay in the app and you will show the cast member your QR code that it will populate at the mobile checkout exit. So you still have to touch base with the cast member before you walk out so they can just confirm what you've got there. If you're looking for what locations do this, it's not every location across Disney property. It is fairly limited right now, but they do seem to be expanding it. I think it's just, it's, a lot of it is dependent on the flow of the store. Do they have the ability to have kind of that mobile checkout counter at the exit? Those types of things. If you are at Magic Kingdom and Disney World, the Emporium, Star Traders, and Tomorrowland Launch Depot all have this merchandise mobile checkout option. If you are at Epcot, Creations, and Treasures of Xandar all have that option. At Hollywood Studios, only Mickey's of Hollywood has that option. And at Animal Kingdom, the Discovery Trading Company and Island Mercantile both have that option. And if you're at Disney Springs, World of Disney has that, which that is a huge one because that store, if you guys have ever been in there, is massive and the lines can get really, really long. So that's a really good one to use it at as well. At Disneyland, the same process that I just talked about is what you do. So scan your items, add them to your cart, check out, and then show your QR code. But just two options at Disneyland. Oh, no, sorry, three options at Disneyland. Elias & Co., the Emporium, and World of Disney at Disneyland as well. So all of those locations are the ones that currently offer the merchandise mobile checkout on your app. Again, not every option or not every merchandise store has that option yet. Hopefully, that's something that Disney continues to expand on because I do think it is a really nice option, especially when you are someone who has been waiting in lines all day with your little kiddos and they need a break. Something else that you might utilize your My Disney Experience app or Disneyland app for is modifying lightning lanes. So we talked a little bit about lightning lanes earlier. Again, all of this I went through extensively in those two other episodes that I referenced earlier. But this is what you will do if the app does not give you a time that you want for a lightning lane, or if you need to change something due to running late or things happen in the parks, right? So if you don't like the time that you have, you can modify those lightning lanes and you do that on your app. So in order to do this, you need to locate your My Day page, which is under the hamburger menu. Click on the My Day, and then you're going to click on the attraction time that you need to modify. And then you'll click into that attraction and then you'll click modify time option. The app will give you other times available to modify it to if there are other times available. If no times populate, then nothing else is currently available for that particular attraction. You can also modify attractions for other attractions. Let's say you got a lightning lane for Haunted Mansion, but you got over to Haunted Mansion and it was a walk-on. Well, you may not want to use your lightning lane. You may want to modify it for another ride. That's also an option under the modify screen as well. So either way, you can do that. If no times pop up for a ride, that means that it is quote unquote sold out for the time being. Now, times do become available throughout the day for most attractions, not all. Some of the most popular big e-ticket attractions, they do not become available. But if it's like a midline and you're not seeing anything pop up, refresh that page periodically, kind of as you're sitting and eating lunch, or as you're waiting in line. If you can kind of, from time to time, refresh by pulling down that screen, you may find something pop up. Again, the best course of action is to pull down to refresh the modify screen and then click the time that you want when it pops up. After you have selected your time, be sure to confirm it. There's one extra confirmation page you have to click at the bottom of the page to fully click out of and confirm that time. So don't just click the time and think you're good. Click the time, hit confirm, and then it will kick you to another page that says like you have selected, and it'll give you the time and the ride from there. Now, Disneyland is not the same. Again, their lightning lanes are not the same, so modifying their lightning lanes are not the same. If you need Disneyland help with lightning lanes, you need to go back to that episode I talked about earlier, which is episode 63 of Mom Street, where we talked about Disneyland, and listen to what we had to say over there about modifying, because their system is the old Genie Plus system. It functions completely separately. Again, not getting into it now, but just keep that in mind. So their system does not function like our system does over here. I say our because I'm used to going to Disney World as an annual pass holder over there. But Disneyland, Disney World, completely separate. So don't let that confuse you. A couple more things to talk about on your trip that you may use the app for is the search function. This is a function that exists on both versions of the app. It is right on the home screen at the bottom. They have a little magnifying glass, and you can search for things using that search function. You can search for attractions, shows, characters, dining, bathrooms, water fountains, all sorts of stuff on there that you can search for. So you just click that little magnifying glass, type it in, and then you can go from there. It's not a it's not a super comprehensive search. It's not very intuitive. Let me put it that way. It won't always guess what you're looking for, but if you know specifics, then it's a really good function to use. So this search feature will allow you then to click whatever it is you're searching for. You can then view details about it. So if you're looking for a particular ride, you can see the wait time. You can click, there's a find on map option, which is really helpful. So you can see where it is on the map. And the other option that it will give you that's really helpful is the get directions option. So let's talk about how we get directions on the app. There are two ways that you can get walking directions on the app. The one is using the search feature just mentioned. So let's say you're standing outside of Space Mountain. You want to know the best way to get to Pirates of the Caribbean. It's all the way across the park. You want to make sure you know the most efficient way to get there. I'm standing at Space Mountain. I'm going to search using the search function, Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm going to click on that option on my app. When it pops up, I'm going to go to get directions, and then I'm going to make sure that everything looks right. It'll look just like a typical map, like an Apple map or a Google map, where it'll give you starting point, ending point, and then you're going to click go, essentially, and it will show you with a little blue line the way that you can navigate through the park. That's one way to get directions. The other way is using the map feature on your app. So along the bottom, one of the other buttons that we haven't talked about yet is the map button. And that map will show you wait times. It'll show you all sorts of other things. We're not going to get into total detail about that map option, but it looks like a little pin, right? It looks like a little kind of pointy oval that you will find. And when you click on that, it's going to auto default to Magic Kingdom. You may need to scroll around and use some filters to figure out where you are and find yourself on the map. But the way to find directions from the map is to click on something from the map. So again, you're standing at Space Mountain. You want to get to Pirates of the Caribbean. You're going to click that map. You're going to zoom out a tiny bit. You're going to find the little white bubble that is Pirates of the Caribbean. You're going to click on the bubble and then the little name will pop up. Then you click on the name and it'll bring up your full page of information. Same page that you would have found if you had searched. So they both end in the same place. From there, you click get directions, make sure everything looks right, and then you hit go and it will tell you where to go. This is a great way to find the shortest route from where you are to whatever attraction or place it is that you're trying to get to. I've even used this when I'm getting to new places and I want to see the fastest way to go. I was trying to walk one day from the yacht club to International Gateway over at Epcot, and I wasn't sure which door to go out of because I had never been over to Yacht Club. It was my first time exploring over there. I used it for that just to see, oh, that's where it goes. Okay, cool. Now I know where I'm going, right? This will also show you this feature for the get directions will show you transportation options that you have. So if you are trying to get from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, and let's say you're standing at guest services at International Gateway of Epcot, and you're trying to get to the front of Hollywood Studios, you can use either the search function or the map function. You can type in what you're trying to get to, Hollywood Studios, select that, click get directions, then right underneath where it's going to list your starting location and your ending location. Right underneath there, it's going to give you transportation options. It's going to show you, do you want to know how to walk there? Do you want to know how to take the boat there? Or do you want to know how to take the Skyliner there? And you can click those different options to help you navigate to where you're going. It'll even also give you an approximate travel time for that as well. So that can be really helpful if you're not sure if you have other transportation options to get where you're trying to go. So that is another thing that is really helpful because it is an option on that direction page. Now, if you're using the Disneyland app, that all functions exactly the same, other than the fact that Disneyland, you're going to be walking, right? They're not going to show you boats and buses and all that kind of stuff because at Disneyland, you can walk from one side to the other very, very easily. So, but it will show you the most direct paths to get there, and you still can use the search function and the map function to be able to find those directions. Something else that you can do, and we're winding down, we've got just two more things to talk about for your during your trip app use. One of them is dining reservation check-in. So if you are someone who made dining reservations before your trip, like we talked about just a little bit ago, when the time for your dining reservation gets close on your app, you will be prompted to check in online for that upcoming dining reservation. It will send you a push notification that you'll be able to click into. And then the process from there is very straightforward and very easily. You will basically check in by confirming your party size. You will confirm any accessibility or high chair needs, and you will confirm any allergy concerns. A lot of that you have already put in when you made your reservation, but this is just like a double check and a confirmation that all your information has stayed the same and no party sizes have changed or things like that. After that, after you've checked in, you will receive a text that will say something along the lines of like, thank you for checking in. Please wait while your table is being prepared. And then typically at most places, then a cast member will come out into the lobby area, wherever that may be, whether it's indoor, outdoor, for the location you're checking in for, and will call your party's name when your table is ready. So a very, very easy process to do that check-in for your dining reservation. That will start to prompt you about 15 minutes before your dining time, and will let you check in once you are located close enough to your location that you're going to be dining in. So if you're trying to dine at Epcot and you're in Magic Kingdom, it's not going to let you check in because you're too far away. So you do have to be closely located, and it does have to be within, it's about a 15-20 minute window that you will be able to do that early check-in for. The last thing that I do just want to mention that you are able to utilize your Disney app for, and that is Memory Maker and PhotoPass. So this is something we did an episode on a few back if you want more information about what is PhotoPass and Memory Maker. But essentially, this gives you access to your park photos on your app. And this is through your My Disney Experience or your Disneyland app. So to find the photos, you will click on that hamburger menu again, the three lines in your bottom corner, and then you will scroll down to the option that says Photo Gallery. Your photo gallery will just be all of the photos that you have taken on your trip, whether it's ride photos or photos that our PhotoPass cast members have taken. They will all be listed there. If you have not purchased your photos for your trip, you will see the PhotoPass watermark across it. If you have not activated your PhotoPass memory maker yet, you will still see those watermarks across it. But if you have activated it and it's fully functioning, then you'll be able to download your photos and all that kind of stuff. You can also access really fun PhotoPass lenses. Those are like, think like Snapchat filters, but all Disney themed, right? And your memory maker options, which are like different things you can order based on your photos in that same menu area. So that's all going to be kind of right in line on that under that hamburger menu, right in that photo section for you. And just a quick note about tech and tips for PhotoPass. I highly suggest if you have a lot of photos that you wait until you get home to download those photos on a computer. Otherwise, you are going to be clicking one at a time, click the picture, hit download, select the size, wait. Hit the picture, hit download, select the size, wait. It takes forever. It's fine if you just want a few, right, that you're pulling off of your app in the meantime, because it's fun to have them downloaded. You can share them with friends and family or post them or whatever. We live in that age of sharing things digitally. But if you are planning to download all of your photos, I highly suggest you wait and you do it on the Disney PhotoPass website. Now, do keep in mind that the Disney PhotoPass website is different than the Disney World website or the Disneyland website. PhotoPass has their own separate website. So you may have to do like a quick Google search, and I would just put in Disney PhotoPass, and it should take you to that location. Again, same email login that you've used. Everything should pull up for you there. You will also be able to see your friends and family photos as well, as long as they don't have like privacy settings on, because you do have the ability to decide whether or not you want to share photos with your friends and family list, which is a nice feature. So if they have stuff privated, you won't be able to see it, or like if you accidentally have stuff privated, they won't be able to see yours if you want them to. So you have to look at your settings for that. But I really, really suggest waiting, because it is so much faster, because you'll be able to like do a select all option and it'll download it into a zip file for you. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that is my suggestion with PhotoPass. I will say I have been guilty of going through one at a time to download a couple things, but it's usually not 50 or 100 photos when it comes to that. And Disneyland, if you're looking for photos and Memory Maker and PhotoPass out there, it all functions the same. So I think that is kind of a basic rundown of all of the tech type things that you may need on your Disney trip. There are a ton of other features of these apps that I didn't go over today, because I just wanted to give you kind of that overview and rundown and highlight of the different things that I think you might utilize on your trip. If you are someone that is trying to find something and you're like, I cannot find this on my Disney app anywhere, send me a quick message. I'm happy to walk you through it. I have a lot of experience using this app, especially for lightning lanes, because I have such a history of helping friends and helping our community and helping Pocket Fam with lightning lanes. So I am happy to help you walk through anything that you have questions about. You can always find me, momstreetusa@gmail.com, or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at momstreetusa. And that's for any type of conversation you want to have. If you need help, you need advice, you have suggestions for future podcast episodes, we always want to hear from our community. You guys are so wonderful and lovely and supportive. We really appreciate you. So please reach out to us if you've got any additional questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, all of that. That being said, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Mom Street USA, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.